Double Elephant members, and yes, I am here, but this is the only space I have to work in my tiny studio. So naturally I don't have any printmaking equipment, I haven't got room for anything, but this is something for the frustrated printmaker to do when you can't do any printmaking. I've got plenty of little dry points which are printed in monochrome, and they can get a nice little boost with a bit of watercolour wash. And luckily I have some ancient watercolours. They're Winsor & Newton half pan watercolours, so even though they look shabby and old, they're actually quite good quality, and they're perfectly good for tinting your little dry points. So I thought I'll have a little go at this goldfinch. So obviously the first thing it needs is a bit of goldy colour, so mixed up a bit of yellows, and the thing is to try your colour out on a piece of paper or paper towel to make sure it's approximately the colour you want. Also, you want your watercolour to be quite dilute, and you don't want to flood this onto your dry point, because this printmaking paper is very absorbent. It has less size in it than watercolour paper, so you're better off building it up gradually with quite dilute watercolour and not too puddly, otherwise you can get big tide marks. Okay, so another colour very important for my goldfinch is a nice red head, so I'll add some colour there. Okay, I've got my reference pictures just out of shot because there wasn't room for you to see that as well, to make sure that I am more or less on track. Yeah, I didn't sort of blot that, it was a bit puddly. It's a bit hard to think about what I'm doing while I'm showing you or trying to show you what I'm up to. I have no idea if that's in focus. I hope that the camera does clever things. Okay, and as I say, it's best to just build it up gently. You might notice that I've got my watercolour puddles on ceramic tile. You don't need big dishes of colour. Yep, you know, that little puddle on there is quite enough. You know, that's approximately the buff colour for his feathers here. Another reason why you have your watercolour quite dilute is that it sinks into the paper, and all those printed lines from the dry point show through. They come to the surface and the watercolour just sinks into the paper. So build it up gradually with dilute washes. Okay, yeah. Right, that's going to need a bit more of a buff on his chest there, a bit of warmth, I think. Ooh, keep testing it and blotting it. Don't do as I do, do as I say. Isn't that kind of like the usual thing? But that's giving a bit of warmth, but he needs a bit more red to his head as well. Okay, that's better. Yep, that's fine. Actually the red comes closer to the eye. Let's get that one there. Now his beak is looking a bit too white, so another gentle buff colour, just a little bit, maybe a bit grayer. There's a bit of blue into the brown colour there. Yeah, because for a nice neutral, if you mix a bit of blue, this is ultramarine, with some brown, that's probably raw umber. It's very hard for me to tell. Would you believe these watercolours are about 40 years old, but they're still going fine. Just shows you that I don't do this sort of thing very often. I'm not a painter by any means, but this can really give your work a bit of a lift. It's just a personal thing of mine that I like to make neutrals with colours, you know, the complementary colours can make a good neutral. I don't like to use black when I'm using colours, but you can do what suits you. I just wanted to make that eye a bit bit more oomph needed for the yellow wing. Here you go. Does that show? Can you see it? I have no idea, but let's have a go. That's better. Bit of strength there. Yeah, it's got this branch that he's kind of sitting on, so let's have a bit of brown on that too. But it needs some shadow in there. Colour sinks in quite quickly, so you can add. Beware of the plate mark. It's very easy to go over the edge. It's very easy to blob some colour on that raised plate mark, which would be a shame. There you go. Anyway, he's coming along, and yeah, he'll get there, he'll get there. So I hope that gives you a bit of encouragement that even just a little bit of extra colour can give something a bit of a boost. All the red on this ladybird is watercolour. Okay, here's a comma butterfly. Before and after watercolour. So I hope that inspires you to get out some of your old dry point prints, perhaps some that you weren't that chuffed with, and see what you can do with a tiny little bit of watercolour. Okay, best of luck with that. Bye for now.